I think, again, I call this just maybe dressing with some respect. Whether it's a pair of jeans and a decent shirt, I would encourage people to maybe dress a little better, which encourages us to maybe behave a little better. Let's try not to wear slippers and pajamas as we come to the airport. I think that's positive. If we can help someone as we're getting on the aircraft that might need some help putting their bag in the overhead bin, and you're a little stronger, a little buffer, you've been lifting, stand up and offer to grab that bag and put it up for someone who's having a more difficult time. Common courtesy and civility, I think, is going to work well.
Did you just hear that? Because that is the part that should make every American stop cold. 2 pilots were killed in the LaGuardia collision. Dozens more were hurt. And the Transportation Department's headline message to the public was civility and dress codes. Now let me be precise here. The cause of that crash is still under investigation. We do not change facts on this channel. We do not guess, but we do judge priorities. And the priority problem is staring us in the face. When the system is under strain, Americans need safety leadership, they need staffing, they need working equipment, they need honest accountability, they do not need fashion advice. By the end of this video, you will see why this story is bigger than one crash. It is about whether this administration treats public safety like a sacred duty or just another branding exercise.
Maybe Donald Trump's Secretary of Transportation should worry less about how people dress when they fly airplanes and more about airplanes crashing out of the sky into fire trucks. We had another air disaster today on Donald Trump and Sean Duffy's watch, this time at LaGuardia Airport, for an administration that literally, ominously kicked off with an air disaster where 67 people died, where American Airlines Flight 5342 crashed into or was crashed into by a Black Hawk.
Here is what they are not telling you. Aviation safety is not just pilots and controllers. It is the whole chain. It is radar. It is maintenance. It is runway systems. It is mapping. It is technicians. It is support staff. It is training. It is staffing depth. Reuters reported that the Air Canada Express jet hit a fire truck while landing at LaGuardia. Both pilots were killed. 41 people were injured. 9 had serious injuries. Investigators are still working the case. That matters. Facts matter. But this is important because the broader system was already under stress. Reuters reported in February that the FAA fired fewer than 400 workers. Sean Duffy said no controllers were cut. Fine, but that is not the whole story. Senator Maria Cantwell said the FAA was already short 800 technicians. She warned those firings hit people who fix and operate more than 74,000 safety-critical pieces of equipment. That is not fluff. That is the backbone. Cutaway. Reuters headline on FAA firings. What this actually means for you is simple. When leaders act like support jobs do not matter, they gamble with the margin of safety, and aviation runs on margins, tiny ones. Seconds matter, signals matter, clearance matters, maintenance logs matter, staffing levels matter. So no, I am not telling you one firing caused one crash. That would be dishonest. I am telling you something more serious. This administration walked into a stressed system, made it leaner, and then acted shocked when Americans asked whether that was reckless. That is a fair question, and they have not earned the benefit of the doubt. Look at this for yourself. This is not some rumor. This is the department's own messaging. They were publicly pushing a civility campaign about manners and clothing. And I am sorry, but when Americans are watching deadly aviation headlines pile up, this lands horribly. Leadership is about focus, and this focus tells you everything. The branding was polished. The priorities were not.
Maybe Sean Duffy should care less about whether somebody's wearing their pajamas or say please and thank you, because that's not going to keep them safe. That doesn't do a darn thing, as they're crashing into the ceiling of the plane, as it loses altitude. That, but I'm okay now. I'm wearing my button-down Oxford shirt. This will protect me. Thank you, Sean. Are you effing kidding me? Wake up, Trump administration. And this is what happens when you have an incompetent, not qualified person running a major agency like Transportation.
I believe this is outrageous because it shows a total mismatch of mission and message, and every American should know that mismatch can become dangerous. On the very morning after the LaGuardia collision, Reuters reported that Newark's control tower was temporarily evacuated because of a burning smell. Traffic had to pause. That was the same regional air system, same pressure, same public anxiety. Then look at the hardware problem. NPR interviewed an air traffic expert in February. She said some primary radar technology still dates to World War II, not the 2000s, not the 1990s. World War II, cutaway, NPR headline and quote card. So, when people say, why are viewers so angry? This is why, because the danger is not one headline, it is the pattern: a deadly January collision, a strained FAA workforce, old systems, another deadly crash in March, a Newark Tower scare the next morning, and a public relations push about airport pajamas. I am not saying panic, I am saying pay attention. There is a difference. And I think progressive viewers, especially older Americans, see this clearly. Government is supposed to do the basics well: protect people, maintain infrastructure, hire competent professionals, respect expertise. That is not some radical demand. That is the minimum. When leaders turn safety into spin, trust collapses, and once public trust in aviation safety starts slipping, getting it back is much harder than lozenge it. This is the number that should hit people hard. According to Senator Cantwell, the FAA was already short 800 technicians. These are the people who keep safety equipment running, not cable TV pundits, not branding consultants, technicians. Her statement says they support more than 74,000 safety-critical pieces of equipment. So when officials wave away cuts by saying controllers were not touched, remember this: a safe system depends on far more than the headset at the tower. It depends on everyone behind the scenes. If that support layer thins out, risk does not disappear. It gets hidden until something goes wrong.
Wake up, Trump administration. And this is what happens when you have an incompetent, not qualified person running a major agency like transportation in Sean Duffy. And no, Fox did not prepare him as a commentator, nor his relationship with Rachel Duffy, who used to be on Real World, or him doing road rules. None of that prepared him for this major task. We knew that on day one of the disaster of this administration. Let's start getting competent people running agencies, the best and the brightest. The problem is the best and the brightest don't want to work for Donald Trump because they see him that he's as mad as a hatter. He's bonkers.
Let's close this out the right way. The official cause of the LaGuardia collision is still under investigation. That is true, and it matters. But here is also what is true. 2 pilots are dead. 41 people were injured. Reuters reported the region's air system was strained enough that Newark's tower was evacuated the next. Mourning over a burning smell, NPR reported key radar technology still traces back to World War II, and the Transportation Department chose to spend public attention on a civility campaign. That is the story. That is the outrage. That is why people do not trust polished talking points anymore. Cutaway, Reuters LaGuardia headline. Plus. Civility screenshot. This is not just about one secretary. It is about whether government still honors competence, whether public safety still comes before performance politics, whether real infrastructure still matters more than image management. I believe older Americans understand this better than anyone. You remember when government at least tried to look serious about the basics: bridges, roads, airports, control towers, safety rules, qualified people in charge. That should not be too much to ask. Not in the richest country on earth, not after deadly warnings, not after repeated strain. So stay loud, stay informed, and never let them tell. You asking for competence is somehow partisan. It is not partisan, it is patriotic. If this video opened your eyes, hit that subscribe button right now, because this story is just getting started and I cover it every single day. Don't miss what's coming next.